Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Thursday here, we've got 4 games on the slate, and we're looking at play-up props in this video. Coming off a 6-2 night as well overall with our best bets and play-up props. Got best bets up in another video as we do each and every weekday, so subscribe to that page and continue to follow along with us all season. Also head to thelines.com and use everything we have up on the site. Gearing up for a big Super Bowl, I will say all of the stuff on there right now, definitely leaning towards the footballs and a bit of basketball as well, including that odds finder tool. So make sure that you use that under that NBA tab. It's a nice chart to make sure you're getting the best juice and odds back on all these bets you're making, including these play-up props that we're making here today, Nate. So let's jump right into your first NBA play-up prop for tonight.
Yeah, not really a household name, but Aaron Nesmith. I'll take the 19.5 points rebounds for him after an incredible performance against the Celtics. Halliburton's back, but still not playing his full minutes, and Nesmith has a huge spike in terms of his production when Halliburton's out. But the bigger deal, I think, is Bruce Brown is gone, and there's a void now at the small forward position. And, he's just playing so well, you have to give him more minutes, Rick Carlisle. His last 5, he is playing 35 minutes a game, but with a 150 offensive rating, he's scoring 18.5, also getting 8.5 rebounds. So easily clearing this number. You go back to when he was playing with Halliburton and Bruce Brown was still on the team, still averaged about 21 points rebounds on a 19% usage rate. The usage is not that high, but he's just a very efficient player right now, shooting 41.5% from 3 in this 5-game span, or in 13 total without Bruce Brown on the season. He's a plus 42. And so, I'm not that scared about the matchup with the Knicks. I know that they are extremely good at limiting pace, limiting every position, playing great defense. There's a possibility OG is still out, though. And I don't think that even if OG's in, Nesmith is their top priority in terms of deploying him. They're going to be worried about Siakam, etc. And Nesmith is just, a very good glue guy at this point. It's pretty simple to me. Just buy low while you can.
Yeah, I'm with it. He's actually probably going to be, in my estimation, be matched up with Josh Hart when he's on offense, especially. Not that Josh Hart's a bad defender, just that's going to be the matchup. Aaron Nesmith, I believe, is in the top 3 or so, 3-point percentage for guys with the minimum required amount of shots. Dude is pulling and hitting for sure. He's been awesome on defense. The only defense that they have at power forward, which still hasn't been very much, which is why I'm actually going to go ahead and just talk about Josh Hart, power forward for the New York Knicks, whether you knew that or not. 6'4" power forward Josh Hart. I'm going to take the rebounds alone for him. I think the assists are okay, but Indy actually limits assists. They don't want you passing the ball around the perimeter. They actually are happy to sort of let you olay to the basket, if more than anything. I think the offensive rebounds will be there for Jay Hart as well. The defensive rebounding has never been great for the Pacers this entire season. So for him at this point, man, this is getting kind of high, and it's been at about at 8.5, honestly, for the past couple games without OG. OG coming back might scare you. It definitely limits certain aspects of this. I could see between OG and Hartenstein, it's we're guarding Pascal and we're guarding Miles Turner between the two of them. And I could see Hartenstein guarding Pascal, because that's where he plays, is down low. And maybe you put OG on Miles Turner to bother him out by the perimeter. Either way, those two dudes are going to be busy with those guys, right? The rebounds might be there a bit more for the dude guarding Pascal, but also Aaron Nesmith is going to be playing in that smallish, power forwardish position that he's been playing for this team, and that's who Josh Hart will be guarding. Yeah, so the thing that really makes me like the Hart thing and where he's playing on the floor is the rebound chances. They've been a bit higher with Hartenstein not in there and with OG out as well. But even when since OG's been there, Josh Hart is still above him, third on the team after Randall and Hartenstein, and Randall's not playing, in terms of rebound chances at 13.5 per game. And over these last couple, that's only spiked a bit, right? It's not like it jumped up entirely. It's only been about 14.5, 15, and 16 in one of those games as well. But 14, 15, 16, not that much higher than the 13. So I don't think there's this massive regression where all of a sudden OG comes back and then Josh Hart's not their second best rebounder after Hartenstein. He is. They're going to continue to be that. The only other thing I would add here is the center position doesn't rebound for the teams playing the Pacers. They give up the third fewest rebounds to centers because of the fact that Miles Turner is standing on the 3-point line. That's where they're standing, right? And so that's why they get pulled from the basket and don't get rebounds. Not because Miles Turner is an incredible boxer outer, but simply just because he's not down there and the guy's drawn away from the basket to guard him. So that all makes sense to me, and that's why power forwards still get so many rebounds against them. I believe it was the 6th most that I wrote here, rebounds against this team on the season. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for him as a result of that, with what I predict to be an under and a bunch more missed shots than people might expect.
Yeah, I mean, is there a guy who personifies Tibbs ball more than Josh Hart? Like, yeah, he is the ultimate. Just like go out there, get it done, do the dirty work, be the glue guy. Don't worry about scoring. Although he did get you 10 points when you had that whole PRA bet and got that must have been the first triple double of his career 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
right? The 10-10-10 game. Love to see it, but yeah, I think double digit rebounds is the thing you can really bank on with this dude as long as Julius Randle's out. Because yeah, even if OG's in there, like he's slotting into power forward. Knicks need bodies, they need boards right now. So the Jazz, we kind of are leaning towards a blowout for them at home here as they return home, and there's really no guy with bigger home road splits than Jordan Clarkson, who's just like a microwave guy. He comes off the bench if he starts hitting, and the crowd gets behind him. It's an avalanche. And his last 7 at home, 23 points, 5.5 assists, incredible shooting splits. Versus last 6 on this road trip, 16.5 points, under 3 assists. So to get him at 20 points and assists is good value at home against the Sixers defense that's struggling mightily, in their last 4 on this road trip in particular, allowing 30 assists per game, 123.5 points per game. Opponents are shooting over 53%, and they just obviously lost Embiid. They've missed him for most of those games. They're still missing DeAnthony Melton, who would be thrown at Clarkson a lot, along with Batum and Covington and some other guys, and who knows what else. Like, this is Sixers
Marcus
team that's
Morris.
just letting go of the rope. Yeah, Marcus Morris for all that matters. They just let go of the rope when they don't have Embiid, and definitely if they don't have Maxey, who's still 50-50, it seems like, to play. And then you see Clarkson's numbers. Like, I gave you his home numbers, and a lot of those are blowouts. And he just puts up these huge numbers in blowouts because he's part of the second unit. And if it gets out of hand, like, he's the guy who's putting the final nails in the coffin for the opposing team. I mean, yeah, you've seen a triple-double against Dallas when they didn't have Luka. You got 36 against Detroit when they put up 154. Like, we could see another great performance where he clears this easily. But even if it's a close game, and I mean, he's still a big part of their plans. I mean, he's playing over 30 minutes per game at home in general. So I like this one a lot in terms of just pairing those stats together.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'll never tell you not to take Jordan Clarkson, MIZZOU there. And all that adds up, especially the at-home stuff. So I'm with that. Let me close it out here with one more over 8.5 rebound prop. And I'm getting good juice on both of these, by the way, because you still get John Collins plus 108 to get 9 boards tonight to go over 8.5 in the aforementioned Jazz and Philly game here. And this is a case of things sort of, this prop might not just like get to 10.5 for the season, but I still think 8.5 is a good number for him as he continues to like be the center on this team on the starting lineup. This small ball lineup, if you want to call it that, with he and Markkanen at the 4 and 5, has been the dominating lineup for them basically for the last, definitely for the last 5 games since he came back. And that's the biggest moment in time that things seem to have changed for him because he was out for a few weeks, came back about a couple weeks ago, had 2 games of a minutes restriction, didn't hit stuff. And then in the last 5 games, back up to the second leading minutes getter on the team there, up about 28. Nobody plays 30 except for Lauri Markkanen on this team, but he still gets the 28, and they play so fast and so well at home that there's always a ton more possessions for him when he's playing there. He's got 16 rebound chances since his return to the lineup, and that includes those 2. That's just over the last 5. Like I said, return to the lineup with full minutes. So with him as the center in the small ball lineup, the 16 rebound chances there. The thing that would worry you is like, okay, well, what happens after the start of the game? Does Walker Kessler come? No, like he and Walker Kessler's minutes are staggered. When John Collins is in there, he's playing center. It's pretty obvious at this point. He's only played 1.5 minutes a game with Walker Kessler since he came back. He's only been in there with Olynyk, even if you want to call him another center on this team, which they don't have much of, but Olynyk would be their other center at that point. And he also is not in there very much with John Collins. Simone Fontecchio doesn't really move off of that 3-point line, so you're not really worried about his big self, getting too many boards or stealing too many of them either. I think both Markkanen and Collins will continue to get close to, if not double-digit boards, the way Collins has going over in this number 4 out of the 5 games they played, including a massive blowout in there where he didn't get it when they got absolutely smacked by the Pellies. So I'm good with Collins over 8.5 because I get the plus money more than anything. If this was crappy odds, I'd be like, it's a tick high, but plus 108, I'll go ahead and take the chance on it.
Yeah, I mean, the Sixers are struggling to rebound without Embiid. I do like that aspect, but I think there's too much variance here in terms of not knowing if the Sixers are going to be competitive to take a starter, an over for a starter on a volume stat like rebounds. Personally, like I would maybe instead try to fade like Markkanen's whole PRA and just be like, look, he's only getting 28 minutes or something. But or that's just the way I see this shaking out. It depends if Maxey plays. Like it could be a nice back and forth game. But yeah, I don't know if the Sixers are big enough as well, like with Tobias at the 4 without Embiid, to necessitate Collins playing that much. But maybe that lends to him playing more small ball 5, like you're saying. So and less Walker Kessler. So I don't know. You can see it either way.
I know.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm taking it for plus money as a result of the somewhat coin flip that we're talking about here. But I think the only other thing to add is if this becomes a blowout, there's probably going to be a lot of rebounds available in the first 3 quarters or so, in which case maybe Collins can at least get us a few of those before he takes off. But that is all the time we have for you in Play at Props today. Continue to follow along and subscribe to that page. We're coming back to you each and every weekday, including the best bets that we have up for you today. And until we see you next, happy betting.